What does success mean to you? It could be a nice car, it could be a nice house, it could be earning a lot of money, it could be mastering a particular skill, it could be living in a certain area of the world, it could mean a ton of different things. And if you went on the street and you asked all the different people you met, what does success mean to you? They're all going to give you a different answer. Success is subjective. It means something different to every person that you encounter. So how exactly is it then that we know if we'll be successful in life? Well, personally, I believe that success isn't something that you either are or you're not. I believe success is a personality. There's a success type personality that can guarantee, if you follow the principles, it will guarantee that you will be successful in life. And you can start being successful as of now, as of today. And I've recently read a book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. Maxwell was a plastic surgeon in the 1950s and in those early days where he had a lot of clients come to him and they wanted plastic surgery done to their face, done to their body. And what he noticed was after he performed plastic surgery on a lot of his patients, a good portion of them came back and said they still weren't happy. They still weren't fulfilled. Even though their physical appearance has changed, whenever they looked in the mirror, they still felt that feeling of dissatisfaction. They still felt unsuccessful. So he did some self-work with these individuals. Maxwell helped these individuals acquire a success type personality. And Maxwell actually created an acronym that explains how to be successful in life that I want to talk to you about in this video. So let's get right to it. If you're new to this channel, I'm Brandon Eastman with Be Better Industries. And on this YouTube channel, we talk about peak performance, mindset, and achievement. Achievement towards your goals and achievement towards the person that you want to become. So if you're into personal development, if you're into achievement, go ahead, hit the subscribe button below, and be sure to hit the bell. That way you're notified of all new videos every single Monday. And hey, by the way, while you're here, if you're into success, which I know you are because you're on this video, then hit the like button below because it helps support the channel and it helps get this video out there to more people. Today, we're going to talk about what goes into being a successful individual, how you will know if you're going to be successful in life. And if you fit a lot of the criteria that we talk about with this success principles and with this success acronym, then you have a really good idea if you're someone who's on the path to success. Again, I didn't create this success acronym. This acronym is created by Maxwell Maltz from Psycho-Cybernetics. And I'm going to go ahead and put this book here in the description below. I highly recommend you read the book. It is a timeless classic, and the newest version here is updated and expanded. It is easily one of the best books that I've read in a while, and I read a lot of books. I read about at least 4 books a month, and this was one of the most memorable ones that I will always go back to. As you can see here from the success acronym, there are 7 different principles when it comes to being a successful personality or a successful individual. And the first one is this. We have to start with a sense of direction. And what that means is we have to know exactly where we're headed. We don't need to know exactly, per se, where we're headed, but we have to have an idea or we have to have an outcome of something that we want to achieve. If you look at anybody right now who is currently unhappy in their life, ask them, what is it that you're working towards? Who is it that you're working to become? What are your actions in a daily basis leading you towards? Who are you becoming? I'll never forget when I was driving home years and years ago before I was introduced to personal development. My friend sent me a tape from Jim Rohn. I talked about this in a previous video. But Jim Rohn is a personal development speaker who asked the question, who is it that you're becoming? What kind of human being are you turning into based on the actions that you take on a daily basis? And I had never had someone explain it that way to me. But after I consciously asked myself the question, who are you becoming on a daily basis? The actions that I began to take changed. And when it comes to a sense of direction, I remember in my own life, when I was 18 years old, fresh out of high school, my goal, my concept and idea of success was the amount of money that I was making. So I set a goal. I want to make $60,000 a year, and that's my goal. Well, guess what happened a year later? I found a sales job, and I began making $60,000 my first year at this new sales company that I was with. I made about $58,000 to be exact. And I remember to myself, after I got my W-2 that year and I saw how much money I made, I thought, wow, I already reached my goal of making $60,000 a year, so why continue going to school to be a lawyer to make 60 grand a year when I can do it at the sales job that I'm with right now? And I'll tell you what, guys, after I achieved my goal, after I reached my outcome based on my sense of direction, I began to drift for the next 2 years. I began to continue making great money because, again, that was my concept of success. That was my only goal at that time. But I didn't develop great relationships with the people that I worked with. I had no sense of fulfillment in my life because while I was making great money, I spent that money on guitars and computers, and I spent all that money on things. And as we all know, you can find a ton of successful people out there in the world who have a lot. They've got a lot of money, they've got a nice car, they've got a beautiful wife, a good-looking husband, they've got all of these external things, yet they're still not happy and fulfilled in life. Because for me, it wasn't about the money. Because I remember, after I reached my income goal, a year and a half to 2 years later, I finally said to myself, I have to begin working towards something. So I set a goal to become a leader with the company that I was with at the time, the same sales company. And within 6 months, I became a leader in the company. And my goal at that point became, I want to impact as many people as possible. So I continued rising up in the company because I had a sense of direction. I had a goal. And then my goal became to impact as many people as possible, and I didn't care how I did it, whether it was with the company or outside the company. So I started my business and I started making these videos because my goal and my mission is to reach as many people as possible to help them positively change and impact their lives. So that's my sense of direction now. And every day I wake up, I ask myself the question, what am I going to do today to make progress towards my goal? What is my sense of direction for this individual day? And what can I do today to impact people's lives? That's a sense of direction. Gandhi had a sense of direction. Mother Teresa had a sense of direction. Elon Musk had a crazy sense of direction. So to the point where he's an insane achiever. Anything he puts his mind to, he achieves. And you can do the same exact thing. Because if somebody else does something, that means that we can do the same exact things as somebody else. You can do anything you put your mind to, but we're going to talk about that more as we move along in these principles. So if you don't know what you're working towards right now, choose something to begin working towards. A vision, something compelling, because that's going to pull you through the toughest of times. And I've seen the most distraught people change their lives after they've created a clear sense of direction. That's principle number 1. The second principle in our success acronym here is understanding. Understanding what, you might be asking? Understanding the other person's point of view. The reality is, no matter what it is we're looking to achieve in this world, we're probably not going to become successful on our own. We have to understand the inner workings of our own psychology and the psychology of other people. You don't need to go to school to be a psychologist. You don't need to do all that, but we do need to understand a form of practical psychology. We have to understand how to work and collaborate and get along with other people. And the biggest part of that is understanding how other people operate, understanding what life looks like in the shoes of somebody else, walking a mile in somebody else's shoes, if we want to use that phrase or use that saying. So what does that mean exactly? Well, we need to understand how what we do might impact other people. We need to have a sense of emotional intelligence. We have to ask ourselves, what will the other person think about this? What will my partner think about this? What will my girlfriend, boyfriend, husband think about this? We need to understand how they process information so that we can best communicate to them. Because understanding comes down to communication. It comes down to communication mostly in this step with other people. How do we best communicate? How do we best lead other people? And you might be saying, Brandon, I don't want to be a leader. I just want to be successful. The reality is, a lot of the greatest leaders in our lifetime are also the most successful people, because we have to have a sense of leadership in some sense. Think about this. We're all leaders in some areas of our life. We might be a leader at home. We might be a leader at work. We might be a leader in our community. We might be a leader for our children. You don't have to just be a leader in a corporate sense of the word, but leadership is influence. And I want you to remember that. Understanding how other people work also comes down to you understanding how to influence other people. Now, influence is different than manipulation. Influence is helping other people make the decision to do something that is good for them. Like we're doing right now with this video. I'm influencing you to adopt these beliefs so that you can improve your life. Manipulation, on the other hand, is convincing somebody to do something that is not the best thing for that person. They're two very different things, but they have similar tendencies, if that makes sense. So always ask yourself, how does this look from the other person's point of view? Who is this helping? What does the other person think about this? Have an understanding and have the skills of communication when it comes to working with other people, working with groups of people, and working in a partnership, etc. But understand how to work with other people. That's principle number 2 on being successful. The third principle that will help you understand if you're going to be a successful person is courage. Everyone talks about courage, but what does courage actually mean? Well, to help personify this, I want you to think of an old TV show, and I hope you've seen this. If you haven't, you've probably heard of it or have seen pictures of it. But Courage the Cowardly Dog is what I want you to think about. This is an old Cartoon Network show. Courage the Cowardly Dog was literally a cowardly animal. I mean, he lived with Eustace, he lived with Muriel, and they always found themselves getting into trouble. And the number one differentiator with Courage, and why there was a show built around it, is because even though Courage was afraid, even though he was anxious, even though he was terrified or humiliated at certain points of his life, Courage always took action to save the people that he loved. Courage always took action in order to make progress towards whatever goal he was going after with his own sense of direction. Courage did things. And when it comes to us using courage and incorporating courage into our life, it comes down to this. Have a goal, have a sense of direction, but don't just sit there waiting for things to happen for you. If you want to be a goal achiever, if you want to be a striver, if you want to be successful, you have to take action every single day towards the thing that you want to achieve. And it's not about doing a ton of things one day and then not doing anything for the next week. It's about doing one thing every single day that will bring you closer to the end result. That will bring you closer to who it is you want to become. You don't need to do a ton of things. You just need to do one thing every single day. Because that one action that you take every single day towards your goal, that one action that will bring you towards your sense of direction will compound and it will grow. And after a year, you're gonna look back and you're gonna say, whoa, look at how much my life has changed in this year. Look at how much more progress I've made. You might even be a year in and achieve that goal and then realize it might not have been exactly what you wanted. But because you took action, you found that out sooner rather than later. You didn't wait 10 to 15 years and then find out that that thing you were going after wasn't exactly for you. Courage is having the ability to take action. If you have a problem in your life, if you have a worry, if you're anxious about something, courage is saying to yourself, you know what, I'm worried right now, but I'm still going to take action that will lead to the result that I want. Courage is something you do, and it's something you have. Have courage and take action towards your goals. A lot of people wait until it's a perfect situation or a perfect scenario or a perfect environment to take the action that they want to. But guess what, guys? Perfection, waiting for things to be perfect, is the enemy of execution. Don't wait for things to be aligned. Don't wait for the stars to align. Don't wait for this big thing to happen in the world. Do things now. Like if you're watching this video right now, we're in the middle of a massive pandemic. Yet there's still so many things we can do in order to reach our goals. We can make content like this. We can improve our skills. We can read books and get knowledge. We can start our own business. There's always something you can do. And if you ever get caught up, if you're ever in a bundle, I don't even know if that is applicable to this, but if you're ever in a spot where you don't know what the next step might be for you, or you're ever feeling lost or off the track, remind yourself, what are you going after? What's your sense of direction? And then ask yourself the question, what is one thing I can do right now in order to bring me closer to the end result? What is one thing I can do right now in order to help me get that feeling of success back in my nervous system that will bring me closer to my outcome. So the third principle is have courage and use that courage to take appropriate actions. The fourth principle when it comes to knowing whether you'll be successful in life or not is compassion. Compassion. And when I think of compassion, this is the way that I think about it. I believe compassion is doing good by others. Compassion is helping other people. To me, compassion is understanding that everybody has something about them that is unique. Yeah, even you, okay? Even if you don't know it, even if you don't believe it, even if you have no idea what it is, you have something about you. You have something special. You've got something that you might not even know what this thing is, or you might not even believe it, but you have something unique about you that you do better than every single person in the world. Okay, I want you to think about it like that. You have a skill about you, or you have the ability to develop a skill that will surpass anybody else in that individual skill. You are unique. And we have to confront people, and we have to come up to people understanding that they know something that we can learn from. We have to approach people understanding that they know something that we don't. They can help us in some area that we might not even know we need that help in. Okay, so we have to care about other people. We truly have to have that. If you're going about life right now and you see somebody or there's a crowd of people and you're like, oh, those people must be this, those people must be that, this person is this person is that. Are all people great? It's an obvious answer, and the answer is no. I do believe that there is evil in the world. It's just what I believe. I believe that it's out there, but I believe it's such a small minority of people that exists in, because I believe that 99.9% of people want to do good. I believe that 99.9% of people have a unique ability and a unique skill, that's you, including you, that you can use to help other people and to aid the world, especially in the world that we're in today. I believe that you have Michael Jordan level talent in some area of your life. And I believe when it comes to compassion, I believe it's taking that talent, taking that skill, and using it to give to other people. I believe that compassion comes down to doing small random acts of kindness for people. Buy a coffee for the person behind you in line. Don't just do it in the drive-thru, do it when you're in a coffee shop, okay? Buy it and let them see who got it for them and let them thank you, and don't try to be humble about it, but say you're welcome. And then someone else will do it for you, and it's a never-ending cycle. But do something nice for other people all the time. It's a goal of mine to do something nice for at least one person every single day. And I try to make sure it's a different person every single time too. But you can be compassionate in your family, you can be compassionate in your community, in your environment, at work, anywhere. But a key principle to you becoming successful and knowing that you'll become successful and staying successful is compassion for other people in your life. The E in our success acronym stands for esteem. We probably hear it as self-esteem or self-love. This is caring about not just other people, but caring about yourself. This is your own self-image. And I believe that even if you had all of these other things here on this list, if you're lacking in esteem, I believe that it can drag all the other ones down, because esteem is what you believe about yourself. You've probably heard the quote from Henry Ford that said, whether you say that you can or you can't, you're usually right. And whenever I hear somebody say, oh, but I couldn't do that, that's not possible for somebody like me. I won't be able to achieve that goal because of insert random excuse. It's always a lack of self-esteem, and it really shows me what place that person's in their life at that moment. And I used to say these same exact things, guys. I used to make excuses all the time, but I changed my self-image over time. And in order to build great self-esteem, or this could even be a B, it just wouldn't stand in the word success, obviously. It would make a really weird word. But this could be a B for belief. Belief in yourself, belief in others. But mostly this one is for you. Esteem is mostly for you. It's your own image. It's what you believe of yourself. It's who you believe yourself to be. And the beautiful thing about esteem is you can decide exactly who it is you want to be. You have the power to make a choice to be a certain kind and a certain type of person. You can make the choice to be exactly who it is you want to be. And the way to do that, I've made plenty of videos about this, is every single day visualize the type of person that you want to be. Even if you're not there yet, that's perfectly fine. But visualize who you want to become. Because if you don't have self-esteem right now, or you know personally that you lack self-esteem, that's very important. And we're going to get to that in our last principle here. But you have to have an idea of who you want to become, even if you don't embody those characteristics or personality traits yet. Because after you know where you want to go, after you have that sense of direction, you can ask yourself, what level of self-esteem do I need in order to get there? And I'll tell you what, guys, if you want to be successful in life, you need to remove I can't, or I don't think that I can, blank, insert random excuse. You have to eliminate those sayings from your life immediately, because anything is possible. Something is only impossible until somebody does it, and then it's widely known as being possible. And then the limits are just expanded, okay? Everything is possible. And I know that sounds Pollyanna, I know that sounds positive and hokey, but it's true. And you need to hold a level of self-esteem, because if you set a goal for yourself, if you're compassionate about other people, if you're understanding in your communication to other people, none of that matters if you don't believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to have any courage to take any action. And that's why esteem deserves a place in this acronym, and it's one of the most important ones. Because without esteem, you don't have any of the others. Without self-esteem, you have a lacking self-image. And self-image is something that we have to work on every single day. So you want to know if you'll be successful? Where is your self-esteem at? Gauge that for yourself and work to improve it, no matter where you're at. The second S in our success acronym here stands for self-confidence. And let me ask you, where is your level of confidence that you will be or become successful in life? Where do you stand when it comes to your confidence? If you answer that question saying, I'm very confident, I know that I'll achieve this, I know that I'll be successful, then I can guarantee that you're someone who's already accomplished a lot of things in your life. Maybe even not a lot of things, but you only think about the things that you've accomplished. Because when it comes to self-confidence, if you answered that question saying, I don't have high levels of confidence, then you're probably always thinking about things that you failed at in life, things that you didn't do well, things that turned out in the opposite way that you wanted them to turn out. Because when it comes to self-confidence, success builds on success. And the beautiful thing about success is where focus goes, energy flows. If you focus on situations in your life where you were successful, then you'll experience that feeling of success more often. And when you're in that feeling of success, do you think that the actions that you take with your newfound courage, do you think the actions that you take will be more success-oriented or more failure-oriented? I think it's an obvious answer. If you're always focused on things that you've done in the past that were extremely successful, then you know that you're an achiever. You know that you can reach your goals. You know that you're a goal striver, okay? However, if you're always focused on things that didn't go well, if you're focused on things in the past that you failed at, like you fell off your bike or you tried to ride a motorcycle and you dropped the bike, if you're always focused on what you did wrong, then you're constantly going to be diverting energy in the direction of things that you did wrong. And when energy is diverting in that direction, you're going to do more things wrong, and it's a never-ending cycle called a feedback loop. Okay, so think about things in the past that you did well. Whenever you're feeling down, think about things that you've accomplished and be in that feeling of success as often as possible, because success builds on success. The tip here I have for you is to avoid looking into the past. Avoid looking into the rear view mirror as you're driving forward on the road, because what's gonna happen? You're gonna end up in the ditch, you're gonna end up in the field or the side of the road. Okay, and even though you might get it started and start going again, it might take you 2 to 3 hours to get the car back up and running. Don't look in the rear view mirror when you're going forward, okay? Always focus on what's ahead. Always focus on, if you are looking into the past, focus on what you did well in the past, and use that to set the foundation and to build on that foundation for more successful experiences. Because the people who believe that they're more self-confident, guys, they don't have anything that you don't have. The only thing that they do differently is they only look back at the good things that have happened for them, not the bad things that have happened to them. So focus on what went well in your past. Focus on what you've accomplished, not your failures, not your mistakes, because we all have failures, we all have mistakes, we're human. So focus on the good and focus on the successes. And the only time you should ever focus on the mistakes is to simply learn from it and put it into the back of your mind, and even take it from the back of your mind and just flick it away. Just blow it into non-existence, because you don't need that anymore. Focus on your successes and allow those successes to build on themselves and snowball into a massive boulder that just continues to propel you forward on your own journey to success. And that's self-confidence. And the third and the final S and the final letter in our success acronym is self-acceptance. And when you think about self-acceptance, I want you to think about understanding as communication with other people. And I want you to think about self-acceptance as communication with the most important person that you could communicate with, which is yourself. How do you talk to yourself? What are the things that you say to you on a daily basis, whether you realize it or not? Because self-acceptance is all about telling yourself who you want to be. Self-acceptance is the self-talk that you want to be putting into your mind. Self-acceptance is mainly this: understanding where you're at in life right now. Are you in the place where you want to live? Are you in the relationship that you want? Are you in the job that you want? And by the way, are you in the job that you don't like? Are you in a relationship that you don't like? Self-acceptance is not judging yourself or communicating badly or negatively to yourself about where you are. Self-acceptance is recognizing where you are now and assessing your current state of affairs. Okay, assessing where you are now, the current state. And then it's not looking back and ruminating on the bad things that have happened or the failures, like the last step that we talked about. Self-acceptance is understanding where you are now and also knowing where you want to go. And it's understanding the gap in between. And this is the beautiful thing. Happiness doesn't come from achieving the goal. Happiness happens in the gap between where you are now and where you want to go. So don't allow your past to work its way into that gap, because you've already lived it. The beautiful thing about the past is it's done. It's over. So don't allow it to work its way into here, because that's not going to help anybody. So understand where you are and know where you want to go. That's self-acceptance. And it doesn't have to be great. It doesn't have to be good. It's just understanding where you are now, because if you don't know where you are now, there's no hope to get to where you want to get to, because you'll just continue reliving the same thoughts and the same experiences and the same beliefs every single day of your life. And that's no good. Okay? You've already lived them. So don't live them again. Why put yourself through that? You know, our brain is so powerful sometimes that it can really take control of us. And we have to understand that we're the spirit in control of this body and our brain. So we have to use it to our advantage. Focus on where you are now, accept it, and then focus on where you want to go. And those were the principles in this success acronym. And remember, success isn't something that you do. Success isn't an end result. There's people out there who don't have a lot of money who are extremely successful, because money is not what success means to them. Success is a type of being. Success is a state, an emotional state. Success is a personality. And when you embody all of these characteristics, I can guarantee that you can immediately flick the switch to feel and become successful. And once you have that feeling that you know you're making progress, you know that you're going to be successful, it's only inevitable that you get to where it is you want to get to. Now, in my book, click the first link in the description here. I want to give you a free ebook copy of my book called Be Extraordinary, Your Guide to Self-Mastery, where I talk about how to master the different 5 key areas of life. And I talk about strategies and techniques that I've used in my own life with my fitness and my finances, my relationships, etc. I talk about how I developed my sense of direction. And I talk about the actions that I took with the courage that I had after applying the courage step in this principle. So go ahead, click the first link. It'll ask you to enter your name and your email. It'll add you to my newsletter, so you'll get emails from me, but it will also send you my ebook. And again, if you found this video valuable, if these tips were helpful for you, hit the subscribe button below, hit the bell, that way you're notified of all new videos, and remember, smash that like button. That way you support me, which I appreciate. And it also sends this video to more people who need the same kind of help. It will help more people on their own path and on their own road to success. And until we speak next time, continue to be better.